All right, here we go. Chapter 2, Section 3D, dividing fractions. Our essential question is, how do you divide fractions? Okay. Uh, the same rules with signs will apply, but there is a little bit of a twist here, and that's we're going to start talking about reciprocal or multiplicative inverse. Okay. Remember, when we're dividing fractions, okay, we're going to end up turning it into multiplication. Well, what do? You can't just change the multiplication. You have to do something. Okay. Well, that something is to take the reciprocal of the fraction that follows it, or the number that follows it. So what is a reciprocal? Basically, it's flipping the fraction. Okay. So if you had 3/5 as your fraction, its reciprocal would be 5/3. If your fraction was 3/7, its reciprocal would be 7/3. If you have a mixed number, okay, write it as an improper fraction and then flip it. So 2 3/4 right here, okay? To make it improper, remember 4 times 2 plus the 3, you get 8 plus 3 is 11/4. So then its reciprocal would be 4/11. If your mixed number is 3 2/5, then 5 times 3 plus 2, that's 15 plus 2 is 17/5. Its reciprocal would be 5/17. Okay? So how do we take that and divide? What you do is you take the reciprocal of the fraction you are dividing by, and then multiply by the two fractions. So example, 3/4 divided by 1/4. You change division to multiplication and take the reciprocal of the fraction that follows. Okay? Do not change the number up front. Whatever that fraction is, just leave it. Okay? So now you end up with 3/4 times 4/1. If this helps you here. Two things you can do here. Okay, you can multiply straight across. And when you do that, you multiply the numerators on top and you get 12. The denominators on the bottom, you get 4, and that equals 3. The other thing you can do is you can cross cancel. You can cancel something from the top and something from the bottom, like here. 4 goes in each of itself once. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. You get the same answer. Okay? Cross cancel or multiply. -4/5 divided by 8/9 would be -4/5. Change division to multiplication and reciprocal of the fraction that follows. Okay? You can take the -4 times the 9. Same rules apply with signs. When you're multiplying, you get -36. 5 times 8 is 40. And simplify your answers. Okay? 4 goes into both of these, -9/10. Again, you could have taken that -4/5 times the 9/8. 4 goes into itself once, goes into 8 twice. -1 times 9 is -9. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay? Same answers here. All right? When you cross cancel, what you're doing, you're kind of simplifying everything beforehand. Okay? If you get a mixed number, 2 1/3, make it improper. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7/3. Change division to multiplication and take the reciprocal. Remember, 5 is the same as 5/1. So its reciprocal would be 1/5. And then multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. 3 times 5 is 15. Boom. There you go. Okay? So when dividing fractions, change all your mixed numbers to impropers. Take the first number divided by the second. You're going to change division to multiplication and take the reciprocal of the second number, the number that follows the division. Real world application here on page 122, H. Suppose you have 12 2/3 cups of cereal. How many 1 1/3 cup servings are in the box? So you want to take this 12 2/3 and divide it up into 1 1/3 servings. So 12 2/3 divided by 1 1/3. Remember, the 12 2/3, make it improper. 3 times 12 is 36, plus 2 is 38/3. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4/3. So what you have is this. Your 12 2/3 is 38/3. Change division to multiplication, and the reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4. Now, multiplying straight across, or you can do this, you can cross cancel. 2 goes in here twice, 2 goes in here 19. You end up with 19 over 2. Okay. Simplified, it goes in there 9 times with the remainder of a half. So you get 9.5 servings that are each 1 1/3 cups. Okay, out of that. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. Okay. -3/5 divided by -1/4. No mixed numbers, so I'm just going to take my first number and leave it. Leave that first fraction the same. I'm going to change division to multiplication, and I'm going to reciprocal this. Also remember what we've been talking about in class, just to keep things on the same. I've always put the negative with the number on top. Don't do both of them because then you get a negative or a negative and that's positive. If it's a negative fraction, I just put it with the top. Then multiply straight across. Negative times a negative is positive. Simplify 2 2/5. Okay. -3 divided by 6/7. I can write that -3 as -3 over 1. Change division to multiplication and take the reciprocal of the number that follows. I'm going to cross cancel here. 3 goes into itself once, goes into 6 twice. -1 times 7 is -7 over 2. -3 1/2. Okay. And then the last one here, 4/7, it stays the same. Division and multiplication. I got to take this mixed number and make it improper. 7 times the -1 is -7 plus 2, that's -9/7. Reciprocal it, now it's -7/9. Goes into itself once, goes into itself once. 4 times -1 is -4/9. Voila. Okay, hopefully that's helpful to you. When you get into class tomorrow, we'll look at more of this for the next couple of days and some application of it. Okay.